Hey everyone, Action here! Today we'll be starting out a new playthrough as the Phoenix Imperium. Now the lore behind this empire is that they were a very strong fallen empire back then, but something that was inside the Owlgate destroyed all of their colonies, leaving only their home system behind. Now, with their lands devastated, the great leader of Atrata Peyot kept some of their population hidden inside some chambers that would prevent them from aging. They stood there for eons until the Owlgates disappeared, and now they are making their rise after the discovery of bioships. Now the bioships are gonna be their main source of strength, and unlike regular ships they can grow in size, making it easier for them to re-establish their mighty navy. Now for our civics we're gonna have the sovereign guardian ships paired with technocracy. I think it is very fitting to have the sovereign because they are pretty much traumatized from everything bad that happened to them, and as such they want to keep their borders very well defended. And technocracy because after all our great ruler Atrata Peyot is a scientist, so it is safe to say that he has a very powerful position in the government influencing how things are done. For our authority we're gonna be Oligarchic, increasing our effective councilor skill by 2 and also gaining Councilor EXP gain for every single level. Now it is very important to have this if you want to develop a strong council, which we will. For our ethics, you're gonna be militarist, xenophobic, and also materialists. Everything is paired with the lore of our empire. And if you are enjoying this, join our navy and help us build something greater. High Command has called for 2,500 new commanders to be enlisted, and your skills and leadership are vital to our mission of defending the universe. That we were at war with the Owlgates, and as such we hate other species. For our traits you're gonna have intelligent because they are after all a fallen empire. We are gonna have the familial and also natural sociologists. Now regarding the gameplay, all of these is gonna speed up the research from our biotechs, which are gonna be our main source of strength. And familial is a new trait introduced in 4.0 that basically increases our pop growth the more pops we have with this trait, up to the maximum of 20%. So in our home planet, which will already start with more than 2000 pops, we'll have plus 20% pop growth right at the start of the game. For our negatives, you're gonna have the unruly, because they are difficult to manage and organize, since after all, they are completely devastated from the war against the Owlgates. And you're also gonna be sedentary, they don't like leaving their cozy homes. And as for our origin, it wouldn't be a good fallen empire if we didn't have the Remnants origin. This makes our homeworld a size 22 relic world with special districts, ruined archaeologies, that upon clearing we have a chance of gaining Marnian artifacts from 10 up to 50. On top of that, we also gain the faculty of archaeo studies, which we are definitely gonna utilize to improve our minor artifacts production. And in patch 4.0 there is a very strong interaction with this building that you'll see later on. Now these are the game settings if you wanna copy them. For this run we're gonna go against all crises at 25 times the difficulty, and hopefully this time the game doesn't end before that. So ideally we won't be going for a crisis path, but instead a more regular playthrough. So here we are, and because we took technocracy, all of our scientists start with random expertise trait, and because we also started with the Remnants, our head of research has the expertise archaeo studies, which grants us all of these bonuses. Now we got very lucky, and also he has the expertise biology, and in the current patch the devs have greatly buffed the expertises. I think that at the level 2 we already gained plus 25% research speed in the field, and at level 3 I believe it is 50%. So if we stack a bunch of biology expertises, we can have like insane amounts of research speed. So in the early game will be all about the economy, Hopefully we won't be going against any other empires, because that would be tremendously bad for us. We also found our first habitable system on Terropia. Let's survey that as well, and let's set up some monthly trades. Now in patch 4.0 the trade has been moved to only trade, not energy credits. However, I do believe that the old trade limits are still applied, so we can just remember the numbers and do the same thing. Let's sell some energy and buy some minerals. Now our first building will be an autochthon monument, and we'll replace the stronghold because we don't want the soldier jobs early on. I heavily recommend that you build this in the beginning because we start off with 1.3 thousand civilians, and this will grant us 0.5 unity for every 100 civilians. So all of these pops that are pretty much useless at the beginning of the game will have a much better use. And now, just by building the autochthon monument, all of our civilians are producing a little bit of tech, unity, and also government ethics attraction. This building is probably the best building in the game because it scales up with your ethics. So since we are xenophobic, materialist, and also militarist, we have all of these modifiers. But this will change depending on your effects. We are getting a very poor income of all resources, so let's build a city district that will improve our consumer good and alloy production as well. For our first tradition, we're gonna have the statecraft to buff our leaders even further and have all of these expertise traits up and running. We could already launch our agenda, however, I'm gonna wait until we have the Amongst Peers, because after we launch with this one, all of our councilors will gain 150 EXP per level. And we already found the Zelvan Forerunners. How wonderful. So there we go, we grab the Amongst Peers and just launch the agenda. Now for our next one, we're gonna have the Expanded Council, because it's the best to have at the early game, and ideally you wanna keep this agenda on cooldown always. One thing that really benefited the Oligarchic authority is that now your Effective Councilor skill also influences on your agenda speed, because in the previous patch I've tested and it didn't work that way. It's a very good change and is a light little buff to our authority. Oh, the Vur. What's up, little fella? It's been a while since I last saw you. Good to see you're still around. Our scouting admiral found some not very friendly mining drones. Get away from there, my guy. No. Alright, he survived somehow. But that's gonna slow down our exploration a little bit. They wanna take a group of our population. That would reduce our happiness by minus 20%. Now, we used to be a fallen empire. However, we don't recall the Zelvan Forerunners. We already surrendered our population once, and they basically destroyed all of our empire. That was what happened with the Owlgate, so we will not do that for now. Our first colony on fresh earth has been founded, and it has the colonial remains modifier, greatly reducing our building and district cost. Now, in this patch, our pops grow very slowly in the new colonies unless we resettle them. So what we're gonna do now is just build something, ideally the medical center, which will increase our pop growth speed, and also another building. For this one, we're gonna start with the commercial zones, so we can increase our trade value a little bit more. And after we build those buildings, we just resettle some pops to occupy this job and improve our pop growth. Keep in mind we also have the familial trait, which increases our happiness for every 100 pops. So the more pops we have on a planet, the better. Now because we have the Remnants, right at the start of the game you already have some minor artifact production, and thus we can always activate the minor artifact decisions. Now that we already have the best perks for statecraft, we are gonna dip into Discovery, because Discovery has a very powerful edict, which is the Map the Stars. increasing our survey speed, anomaly discovery chance, and also ship hyperlane detection range. This makes our ships a little bit safer whilst they explore the universe.
Anomaly found.
Colonial remains. Highland was once an important colony of the Phoenix Imperium, and some remnants of its infrastructure remain usable as a base to recolonize the planet. And we also have the colonial remains for our second colony. Now this is why I like the remnants. We have so many hidden modifiers and bonuses that greatly help our economy in the early game. Oh wow, what? We can hire a level 4 scientist already. However, he costs 600 unity. Yeah, I don't think we have the unity to hire this guy at this point. You're gonna have to pass this opportunity. Alright, now that is interesting. Here on Highland we have the ancient bombardment craters, granting us a little bit of physics research output and also 200 of each tech job. So this way we don't even need to build anything in order to resettle some pops and increase our pop growth. Fantastic. What is this? Or rich caverns. Cost. Like, cough, but cost. Oh wow, we are suffering from low stability on the Highland. Minus 42% happiness. Alright. Well, let's build a luxury residences. This building is so OP. 2500 amenities just from that. Seems balanced, right? And we finally found our first AI empire, the Tau Menace. They have an avian shipset as well. So that's interesting, another bird. You're probably gonna like each other, right? Let's already send Ecumenopolis. What? They are hostile to us already? Yeah, you gotta be kidding me, they hate us. So much for avian friends, right? Well, let's hope Munin Aka can retreat. Alright, and he also got the Unyielding trait, although he retreated, which is kinda ironic. I will have expanded our council, and now let's go for evolving society, since we want to improve our unity production to bio-ascend. Oh, the cloning technology, now this is so huge, because before, in patch 3.14, we can only have the clone vats if we bio-ascended, but now we can have it much quicker. And this building actually increases our monthly pop growth by 1.5, and although the effects are not very strong if you look at this, however, it is massive, because fresh airs, for instance, its estimated growth is only 1.7. However, if we build a clone vat, it would basically double to 3.2 growth every month. And here on Highland, it would basically triple the growth. It is completely bonkers. So the world of Highland has the Nemes, a gargantuan amphibian reptile whose bone shell is formed of various exotic minerals. Now most of what we thought were local islands have turned out to be these creatures. Now this reduces our housing by 10%, but increases our society output by 15%. And Highland is turning out to be a very good tech world. We already have the moving island giving us society research, and the ancient bombardment craters giving us physics research. So we have 2 bonuses to 2 tech fields. Later on, I'm thinking about specializing one district to engineering and the other one to society. Oh, they are avian machines. That's why they hate us. Imagine if they are determined exterminators. That would be fun. I don't even know why I'm saying these things, because every time I do, it happens. It's a curse, I swear. But it only works for bad things, right? If I say a good thing will happen, it never does. And a shout out to our first founding admirals. Their financial and strategical support are fueling the non-stop expansion of our armada. Now founding members are only available until Sunday this week, because we will be starting off our first roleplay playthrough, and founding members will be able to submit their custom empires so we can interact together in our first playthrough. playthrough. Now if you want to have a more proactive participation in the channel, this might be the best opportunity for you, and if you just join, you can access our Discord server, participate in our exclusive channels where we discuss some strategies, and submit your Empire builds there. Oh no, the Voidworms. Our arch enemies are coming. I hate you so much. But thankfully we have a sufficient amount of food to build some defensive fleets. We have the cloning tech now, and we can build the clone vat on all of our planets. Now this will greatly increase our progress. We have recovered a cache while creating a blocker. Oh no! Our scientists! The space amoebas! Oh, they're gonna pay for it. They're so gonna pay for it. We're gonna consume them. Alright, as expected, we established contact with the XT-489 Eliminator. Yeah, determined exterminators. Okay, not a very friendly first contact. Let's insult these, like it would change something. And now that we finished the discovery paired with technological ascendancy, we already have 83% research speed when researching biological ships. And we also have a very good research speed for the other fields at plus 68 and plus 68 as well. Now Commander Muniaka was the first one to observe what appears to be the gates that connected to our ancient rivals. Now this sets an unprecedented level of hatred in our empire, since we start to remember what the L-Gate did to us, completely destroying our empire and taking millions of years for us to rebuild and rise once again on our capital world. Right now we launched the departmental efficiency agenda, and with that we have over 100% research speed in society before the year 30, which is completely ridiculous. Now the buffs they did to technocracy are significantly better than before, because right now our ruler alone is giving us plus 30% research speed in biology. So technocracy with the expertises is definitely something you should consider if you plan on rushing specific builds. So in the previous patch we would only have the modifiers that improved our job output. However, today the devs implemented the job efficiency, which is a multiplier with the job output. Meaning, if you have 100% job efficiency plus 100% job output, you're gonna have a bonus of 4 times your regular output, because both of them will scale on each other. In the previous patch, we will only have a plus 200% and that's it. So things get a little crazy the more modifiers you have. And since we have the Remnants origin, we gain access to the ruined archaeology blockers, and this one is kinda insane. It gives us a 33% chance of rolling all of these minor artifacts up to 250. So let's see if we can be lucky in this and get the maximum amount. That would be kinda insane. And in our capital we're also adjusted to that. Maybe it has something to do with our minor artifact production? I'm not so sure. And also, yeah, a very good thing about Remnants in this patch is that every biologist job gets converted to archaeo-engineers, and archaeo-engineers produces minor artifacts. So we can pretty much have an infinite amount of minor artifacts now. All we need to do is increase our number of biologists, and that will increase our output. In the previous patch it would be limited to the amount of archaeologist drones or pops you would have working. Now thankfully our research speed in society is already at 109%, so we'll be speeding through the biology research, which includes our bioships. Now if you haven't watched the latest video, we have detailed everything we did to achieve this number in the previous video. If you guys wanna check it out, here is the link. The main problem I'm seeing with this build is the low amount of pop growth, but this should be fixed the more pops we have, at least until we have 20 pops across all planets. And because we have the Sovereign Guardianship, ideally we wanna have very large planets with tons and tons of pops and districts, but not lots of planets, because we have a plus 100% empire size from planets. That is very detrimental. If you can see here, the main source of empire size is not actually pops, but instead colonies and systems. Ideally, what I want to do now is remove the mixed industry from our capital and replace it somewhere else. Ideally on the world of fresh airs. And the reason for that is we want to specialize our capital in the production of research. So let's start by building up a mixed industry, because we also want to have some metallurgists. And here on the highland we already start building more of the research labs. Since in the previous episode I already told you about this, but we have the NEMAS, which increases our society research by 15%, and we also have the special planetary feature of ancient bombardment craters that increases our physics research by another 20%. So ideally, what we want to have here is just biologists and physicists, so we can get the most out of it. Now we have a very aggressive neighbors, the XT Eliminators. Of course, they are the terminal exterminators, right? Because wow, we gotta have the toughest enemies. So although we were building a very good spy network, because they are a machine intelligence, it means that it is pretty hard to get high levels of intel. So what we can do instead is use the acquire asset and launch it, and ideally we want to have a subterfuge asset so we can keep rolling the steel technology operation. Now this operation is very underrated, but in the end it can provide you with very good bonuses to your tech output. And of course, since the operation is so difficult, we have the confidence waivers. Now our operatives are having a lack of confidence in their overall purpose, so we can either pay 600 energy credits. That sounds like a lot, since we only have 600 in storage. Or we can either use this one, that has a very low chance of having a positive effect, and a very high chance of having a negative one. But at the moment we can't afford to spend all of our energy. And we got lucky. Oh holy! We had a 16% chance of success. Now that's very good. I don't know if you guys notice it, but now the exotic material buildings actually gives us the materials from the metallurgists and artisans instead of creating new jobs. In my opinion, it greatly improved the efficiency of the jobs, but I don't know what you guys think, since it also increased the mineral upkeep by a lot. To be honest, it basically rendered all of the rare resources pretty much not so rare anymore, because by building just one of these in our alloy world or consumer good world, we will have such a massive amount of resources that we won't be consuming anywhere else. Now that we finished the statecraft tradition, we only need to finish another one to unlock the biomorphosis. But for our next ascension perk, I am questioning whether we should go with one vision to improve our unity or something like archaeo engineers. Now the reason for archaeoengineers is we are gonna use the ancient ship components in order to power our ships. It is quite useful because we have the archaeotech weapon damage, and we can also make a very good trick using the bioships to basically have the archaeo components without paying for a single bit of minor artifacts. But I think we won't be going to war anytime soon. The XT eliminators are pretty far away. So let's improve our unity so we can finish up the third agenda even faster. Now just some space whales flying around. What a lovely creature, right? I really like these Stellaris moments where we can appreciate the space fauna before we kill them. Our first renowned paragon appeared, the Zondar. Now he is a very good admiral, especially if we are running explosive weapons. And I believe these explosive weapons also account for the mandibles for our little molars. Let's see. No, it is kinetic, alright. AG slot kinetic, that's very useful. Yeah, the only downside for this guy is that he costs 8 unity per month. And unity right now is our main problem. I'm not sure whether we hire him or not. Yeah, why not, right? What is 80 unity in the great scheme of things? Oh, that's very good. So we have a expertise in biology 3. Just as I said last video, it will gain up to plus 50% research speed in biology. That's kinda insane. And the Carnival Protectors, Wind of Change, gain unity and lose specialist pop output for 2 years. We can eradicate the manifesti. Let's pay some alloys because we have a very large amount of alloys storage. So after having our ruler with the expertise biology 3, we have 129% research speed in biology. That's kinda nuts, considering we are only still in 31 years into the game. Oh, now that we have built a lot of civilian industries in Flash Airs, I think it's safe for us to replace the mixed industry for a research enclave. Alright, we have acquired an asset. Spy Master Ecumenopolis reports from the XT489 Eliminator. A successful execution so far. So we gain command relay asset for use against them. And what is this kind of asset? A sabotage. Not what we were looking for, but okay. We can only sabotage starbase facility, destroy a random module or building on a particular starbase facility. That's kinda bad. And we also have mob rule on rise. I still don't know how we are getting so many negative modifiers from crime, although we only had like one event from crime. I think it is kinda insane the amount of crime you are getting in this patch. I don't know if you guys are having the same experience though. Maybe I am too bad at controlling the crime. Really? Another negative? It has been only 1 year, I think. Oh wow. What? We can't pay for 1000 unity?
We have mastered.
I think this is bugged. Now why have the devs made this? We can't stay between 40 and 100 unity. Like, are you kidding me? That makes 0 sense. It's not zero tolerance, it's 0 cents policy. Like, if we had a production of 40 unity, we could use this. But since we have a 70, we can't. What if I just disable some jobs? Would that work? Let's see if the month passes and we can use this. Nope. I have no idea why we cannot use the second option. So yeah, we gotta have the corrupt administration giving us -20 stability for 10 years. So we have hijacked some of the species we are making contact with. We can interrogate them or let the vivisection commence. I mean, we aren't that cruel though. We aren't the determinate exterminators. So let's just do a little bit of interrogation. Oh boy, we should have vivisected them. I have a feeling they might be a devouring swarm. Alright, so establish contact with Phoenix Imperium. They are not a hive swarm, thankfully. So let's start off with terrible relations, but more spy network growth on them. They're quite close to us. That's not ideal. So for our third tradition, we're gonna go for something unique in this patch, which is the Unyielding. Now, defensive platforms and starbases have been greatly buffed with the introduction of the Deep Space Citadel, and also the Eternal Vigilance Ascension perk is very insane. Just look at this. Every 6 months, a defensive platform will be built around every starbase depending on the Eternal Vigilance policy, up to a maximum of 50% capacity. So we basically have 3 defensive platforms in all of our starbases, and they also have a -50% upkeep on top of a ton of bonuses. And remember, this is just the Ascension perk, not even accounting for the traditions and also the leader traits, which are kinda insane for the starbases and defensive platforms. And here on our spy network, on the axial eliminators, we can acquire another asset as soon as we have the required influence. Thankfully the order has been restored on Rise, so our stability is back up again at almost 90%. Fantastic. Again, we can't use this option, although our infiltration level is already greater than 10. Maybe I'm reading something wrong here, but I think we should be able to use this one. Alright. The operation has been cancelled, unfortunately. We lost all the influence. And we have a consumer goods shortage. Oh no, the Stellaris Devourer. Let us hope our leader survives. Nope, he didn't. Now the rifting space situation is very good if we want to rush our unity, because using this we gain plus 25% unity and plus 10% physics research at the only cost of minus 25% alloys. But since we won't be building any of regular ships, all of our ships will cost mainly food, so we can pretty much neglect the alloy production for now. It seems that our neighbors are quite passive at this moment, which is good for us, because we are still building up our star bases. Here on the Uxion system, we already have 6.4 thousand, and it will only increase the more we advance through the Unyielding tradition. We are also researching the Star Fortress technology, which will upgrade our star bases, and the good part is that upgrading the star bases also costs food and a little bit of alloys, so it is perfect for bioships. Now here on Fresh Airs, we have filled pretty much everything with civilian industries, but in order for us to upgrade civilian fabricators, no, wait. Just as I was saying, we were attacked by the Voidworms. Ah, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, this will force us to build some bioships faster. So alright, although we can't build a very good fleet at the moment, we are still producing our juvenile maulers, and they still need to grow before we can fight the Voidworms. So perhaps the Voidworm will be successful in this first bombardment. So, since we can't do anything about that at the moment, let's just reform our government first, because we have another civics lot. Now, we could use something like the crowdsourcing, or use the democratic and grab the parliamentary system. However, I will avoid using any faction civics because they are completely busted at the moment, and we should expect a nerf in the future. So there isn't much point in making a build like this because it will be gutted very soon. However, what we can do now is improve our unity production to ascend quicker, and I think we can do that by grabbing the Byzantine bureaucracy, which will increase our unity per bureaucrat by 1. Now, bureaucrats have a basic production of 4, so this basically means a net 25% increase before even other modifiers are applied. We got the temporal distortion on Fresh Airs. What is this modifier, man? Now, this doesn't even sound like vanilla, plus 100% to everything basically. That's kinda insane. And our Minister of Defense resigned to travel the universe. Farewell, Moninaka, you did very well for us. It is time you have some joy for your life. Not saying that serving the Imperium isn't a joy itself, but there is more to life than that, I guess. We now hire the Virok Nahau, and he has a very good perk, which is the extra damage against space fauna, and that includes the Voidworms. So we'll have a little bit more benefits when dealing with them. What? We lost the materialist faction, and because of this the technocracy civic is now invalid. Can we do something about that? Yeah, wow. Oh, it's gonna cost us 5,000 unity? Really? Oh man, that's so bad. Yeah, but we gotta do this sooner or later. So let's embrace the materialist now. Let's see how our effects are scattered. Yeah, it went back to the normal, thankfully. Now our economy is finally starting to scale up a little bit, now that we are having the better technologies. We also got very lucky in the reverse engineer, and we got the quantum innovation nexus, and also the option to upgrade it as soon as we have 200 more alloys. Okay, buddy, you're declaring us the rivals. You are completely hostile to us. What? How did that happen? I think you hate us more than the determined exterminators. Nope, not at all. It will be your turn in time, fleshlings. Now let's insult you, just to make you happier. And although I said that things were looking good for us, I completely jinxed, and now our economy is garbage. Now, I have no idea what led to this, but we are even losing food, something that we were very much on the positive side later. I think that by building up so many specialist jobs, we got ourselves in a death spiral. It's gonna be a little tricky to maneuver, but we'll be fine, I guess. What we can do first is change the economic policy to civilian. That would increase our consumer good from jobs, and since we are basically producing nothing in terms of alloys, the impact won't be that big. Another thing we can do is stop the nutritional plentitude, which increases our pop food upkeep by 25%, and also we can activate the capacity subsidies, which will improve our energy production a little bit. And to counter some of the unity we'll be losing, we can activate the inner focus, which will cost us a base of 3 influence, but at the same time will increase our monthly unity by 10%. And since we won't be expanding much more than we already have because of our civic, we should be fine in terms of influence. So yeah, by just doing that, we improved our energy production, we stabilized our food output, and also the consumer good is almost at 0. Because before it was, I think, minus 40 or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty nuts. I think that if we build a research supply depot on the highland, it should decrease our researcher upkeep and therefore increase our consumer good output. Another one declaring us rivals. Don't mind if I do. We are xenophobic after all, and since we are spending 3 influence in our edicts, every rival counts a lot. And we finally finished the Unyielding tradition, and we can grab the Biomorphosis Ascension perk. Now that's where things start to look good, boys. So let's begin by choosing our first approach. Now here we can have 3 approaches. Purity will increase our leader output, cloning will increase our pop growth, and mutation will increase our pop efficiency when we are in worlds with above 100% habitability. Now the first choice won't determine the final outcome. You will still be able to choose whatever one of these 3 you want, considering that at some point you pick one of the corresponding approach. So since we want to be purity, at least in some part of the situation, we need to pick the purity approach, otherwise it won't be available to us. But for now, we'll go for mutation in order to adopt the flexible tradition 1 as the environmental integration. So thankfully, due to our intel, the Phoenix Imperium are preparing to declare war on us. So we should reinforce our starbase a little bit more. But we need 300 more food to upgrade it to Star Fortress. That will give us a massive advantage. I have already built a small fleet and I'm just letting them grow a little bit. We just need to wait 60 months until the maturation cycle is completed. I think they're gonna declare war on us much sooner than that though, so we need to prepare ourselves a little bit more, and that includes upgrading our Star Fortress. Now the XT eliminators got back at us and insulted. Alright, let's insult them back. Just the cycle of life. Alright, speaking of cycle of life, our governor died. That's very bad, because we don't have any other high-level leader to occupy his place. That's tough, man. We could use the Artan Nahua, he's level 2 and has unity and trade output. But we should also start leveling up another good commander. And the Nagyaran Multitude and the Nurium Imperium form a federation. Now the bad thing is, both of them are rival to us, so when they declare war, both of them will vote yes in the Federation, so the war will 100% pass. And that's something you don't want to have. 2 empires at war with you, and you don't even have a good military at this point. Oh, finally we can build a class 3 singularity in one of our planets. Oh no. Yeah, it costs dark matter. Nah. I thought this would be our salvation. Man, I really don't know for how much longer we can keep this economy running. Like, we are on the verge of collapse at this point, and we just need more workers. But here we have only 9 workers. I'm thinking about just reducing the amount of enforcers. Yeah, we have 0 crime. Yeah, 19 now. Let's just give it... yeah, this is good. 30 enforcers. And the rest, Yeah, let's reduce it a little bit. Because those pops will be downgraded to workers, and it will increase our basic resource output, because we definitely need more of this. So let's reduce the amount of enforcers on all of our planets. Yeah, here on Highland we could even have 0 enforcers. Oh man, I was losing so much maximization just from neglecting downgrading the enforcers. Yeah, there it is. They are attacking and they claim the Uxion system, which is our star fortress. Let's build 2 gun batteries, although I don't know if they will be finished within time. Here they only have a 5k fleet, but I have a feeling this is just the tip of everything they have. Our starbase plus the military ships have a combined power of 20,000. Maybe we can defend ourselves. Maybe. Okay, now the downgrade kind of worked. It stabilized our economy, finally. However, we are still very poor in terms of basic resources. So at this point I will refrain myself from building more advanced resources such as tech, consumer goods and alloys in order to increase our food production. So here we have the tipping point, which allows us to choose our second flexible tradition. Now all options will increase our overall job efficiency for medical tier building and also from genomic research facilities. However, the purity option also decreases our empire size from pops by -10%, which is huge since we have the sovereign guardianship already reducing it by 50. And yeah, since purity is also our goal, it is very important we pick it at some point. We might as well just do it now. But keep in mind that those effects are only available once you pick your second flexible tradition. Here it is, heightened attributes, and we'll still have a third flexible tradition to pick later on down the situation road. I just stopped the timer right before we went in a consumer good deficit. Yeah, thankfully I noticed that before. We'll also not pick a tradition at this point, we'll wait until the Biomorphosis is finished, so we can right away start picking up the traditions. Here on Uxion, all of our ships are stationed, just waiting for the enemies. And I don't know if it is intended, but I think that the Harbingers should have a animation like the Weavers have. Alright, another one. Let's increase the unity. The Weavers have, the Maulers have, I think even the Starbase have. But you get the point, right? They look so cool. They could move their tail a little bit, I guess. Our Harbingers have become elder, so now they really stand no chance at defeating our Starbase. The Starbase already got up to 19k defensive power, and the fleet is at 8,000, so no way they can penetrate our borders now. Oh, what is this? Zondar claims to have improved his physical form in a number of ways, and without permission he has sent messages across the fleet celebrating his perfected state and released a manifesto. And in his manifesto, he claimed that the only viable future for a civilization is synthetic ascension. Now, the audacity on this guy. So he gained a maniacal trait, although he's an admiral. Now that's very interesting. So plus 10% research speed, amazing. We are already at 150% in the biology field and 118 in other fields, it's insane. We also got the neurotissue engineering from the Biomorphosis event, increasing our leader EXP and lifespan. A very good tech and very cool effects as well. Now we have our third choice in the Biomorphosis, and this is tough, oh boy. Now we are developing a strategy that revolves having a very high amount of pop efficiency through basically improving our habitability. So right now we have 3 options, right? As always, we have the purity, which will basically increase our pop growth by 10% for every genomic researcher. So I think it is 40% pop growth because our genomic researchers give plus 200 And also the gene clinics give us another 200. So in this planet it would be 40. So in this planet it would be 40%. It is good, right? Yeah, it is good. And the cloning, I think it is even better because we'd get +1 monthly organic pop growth for 100 genomic researchers on top of having the biochemical composure. Now, the biochemical composure will allow our leader to have backup clones whenever they die, basically making them kinda immortal, not really, but a little bit. And the mutation will, on top of giving us a +10% habitability from genomic research facilities, we'll gain the nucleotide isolation. And what it does is we can have all of these traits and also the Leviathan traits. And if we could grab the Voidling, which gives us +80% minimum habitability, that would be insanely powerful. Yeah, it's a tough situation. What would you guys choose? Leave it in the comments, because I sincerely don't know what is best at this point. I think I'm gonna go with cloning, just because we will have a flat out 1 monthly pop growth for every genomic, and also the leader bonuses are kinda nice, since we already lost very powerful counselors, and I don't want to lose them again in the game. Now look at this, our estimated growth next month already went up to 10, and here it grew by 79. It's getting kinda insane. We already filled up all of our worker jobs, almost, just here on Fresh Airs there are still some jobs available, but it means that we can further specialize our districts and improve our basic resource output once again. Now we finished the Biomorphosis situation. You can grab Purity, Cloning or Mutation. You're obviously gonna have Purity since that was our plan since the start, and we can now pick our traditions since we have stored 40,000 unity already. First we'll have the environmental integration, and then this one to reduce our empire size from pops and make the traditions cheaper. So here you can see that it's gonna cost us 16,000, if we pass a little bit, 15k. Not a very significant change, but very good nonetheless. And it also increased our job efficiency a lot. Now we went from having low population across our planets to even have a surplus of them and already started having civilians across all of our planets. It's kinda insane the difference that cloning makes in our ascension. Alright, we can modify our pops now, and let's see what's best. So later on we'll have our purity authorities, and what they do is they give us many effects based on our positive and negative traits. So this is our base points, and for every point that we utilize we gain a benefit, and for every negative that we have, we gain a negative. However, it will all basically work out in the end, and if we don't use any little tricks, we would only have +10. However, there is something that I don't know if the devs noticed, which is erudite, fertile, and robust used to cost 4 points for the regular ascension. However, in purity they have a cost of 3 only, and they count as 4 in the authorities. So if we pick, for instance, erudite, fertile, robust, and also something like enduring, what we have in the end is 4 + 4 + 4, which is already 12, plus 1. Total of 13 points here. Or we could go even more insane than that and make things a little more efficient by using erudite, fertile, robust, and the last one we can have the natural mechanist. However, we still need to have a little more points. We can grab something like, I don't know, sedentary, that will give us the points, and then grab the natural mechanists, because this one usually costs +3, but in this case costs only +2. So in the end we have a total of 14 points, although we only utilize 10. So let's apply this across all of our pops. It's only gonna take us 8 months. Oh my god, what? They would kill 100% of assigned population? No, we just prefer to use the encryption a little bit. So let's see the difference in our output now that we changed our species. Yeah, Kinda insane, because now we have the robust, which increases our habitability by 30%. And this, my guys, have an effect in our tradition, since we have the environmental integration, which for every point of habitability above 100%, we gain a little bit of bonuses. Now the full effect of this madness you'll see when we finish the purity tradition as a whole within 15 months. I think the Voidworms greatly overestimated their power. They decided to attack our starbase. Yeah. They didn't even stood a chance. Alright, the birth of the Galactic community. What a wonderful thing. And let's also upgrade our Fallen Empire build. What? Okay. Well, boys, it is time you see the madness. So we will have the eugenic hierarchy increasing our job efficiency by 2.5%, and our leaders will have this very good bonus that you'll see just right now. So let's just wait for the month to pass. I'm not even gonna pick an ascension perk. I'm just gonna wait a little bit. And now, if we look at this, just see the council agenda speed. It's kind of insane. We have a plus, I don't even know, what is this? It's a plus 350%, and it's only because we have Zondar here. If we were to hire another leader like this guy, yeah, it increased to plus 420% just from the generic purist. I highly hope the devs change this a little bit, because it's kinda insane. We can finish an agenda within 5 months, and if we were to start a new one right away, it would only take 11 months. Yeah, it's kinda ridiculous. Also, here on our planets, you can see the efficiency on our jobs, which is, look, we only have 1,000 physicists. However, they have an efficiency of almost 2.5, and that is before accounting for the job outputs, which are multiplicative with the job efficiency. So here we can see on the Almighty Specialist that we have a plus 35% species genetic perfection, and also plus 30% from our traits, 15% from buildings, and plus 30% from buildings as well, since we have the Genomic Research Facility and the Cryo Revitalization Centers. So right now our plan is to reach 20,000 tech before the year 2300. I don't know if that's even possible to scale up our production that much, but we'll see, we'll try our best. Perhaps 10,000 is a more achievable goal. However, right now we have a very poor engineering research production, with only 370, so we should theoretically grab another planet, perhaps the Mintaka second, because it is a size 20 world, very good. And in the previous patch, all that mattered was the buildings, but right now districts are the most important part of your planets. So let's colonize another one, and the reason I'm being very careful about colonizing more planets is because we have the Sovereign Guardianship, which increases our empire size from planets by 100%. And if you look at this, they are almost over our empire size from pops right now. So yeah, getting systems and colonies really hurt our empire size in this build. And because we have the genetic purist, we basically launch agendas off cooldown. This way we can have all of our leaders at a pretty high level very quickly. One thing that is very problematic in this patch I'm seeing is the mineral production. However, we should be fixing it on fresh airs by building one mining zone. And now that we have the Galactic community, we can slowly gain intel on all empires in the galaxy. Hopefully we can establish a federation with someone. Now the Crow conglomerate, they are pretty friendly to us right now, and perhaps in the near future we can join a federation with them. And yeah, now we have volatile shortages. Our Empress, Atrico Amata, already reached the level 10, but those are not very good bonuses, I'm not gonna lie. Perhaps propulsion is better. One thing that I'm noticing this patch is that Harmony Traditions actually got a very good buff. So since civilians are useful now, which basically are unemployed pops, our unemployed pops demote to civilians after some time. Ideally, we want them to demote faster so they can actually produce something. Because whilst they are unemployed, they have zero production, but when they become civilians, at least they produce a little bit of amenities and also trade. And that is if you don't have the autochthon monument, which basically grants your civilians a little bit of production, depending on our effects. In our case, it will increase the governing effects attraction, the research points, naval cap, and citizen pop happiness, on top of more unity per 100 civilians. So they aren't useless at all. As a matter of fact, there are some people even exploiting only civilian builds to have massive amounts of production. Yeah, however, we won't be exploiting it, we just want to have them up. And the reason for harmony is that the kinship perk reduces the pop demotion time by 75%. So basically every time you have an unemployment, they will become civilians very quickly. On top of the minus 10% empire size from pops, which is very good. And the Phoenix Imperium decided to offer peace after they declared war on us and didn't even have the courage to attack. And now they are claiming some systems. You guys are so pathetic. Yeah. Let's steal some tax from you using one asset. Perfect. Oh boy. And at the same time we did this, the Voidworm plague started. Yeah, now this is very risky, because they can pretty much destroy our colonies. What is our approach? So I think that since we already have almost 200% research speed in society, and if we research bio, yeah, it's 197. So perhaps it wouldn't be very bad to use the search for a cure, because it will increase our monthly unity by 25% at only the cost of minus 50% society research. So it will hurt us a little bit, but yeah, not very much, I hope so. And people are starting to open borders to us, although they are xenophobe and we are as well. Perhaps the Voidworms scare them a little bit and they want our protection. Not that we are in a very good position to reinforce anyone, with only 7 ships in our empire, but yeah, so far we are the most advanced empire in terms of technology. Artanahua is now at level 8. We could use the elite benefactor because we have technocracy, and technocracy replaces some elite pops for the science director, so it is very powerful, plus 50% bonuses from them. Or we could use this one to increase our unity from basically pops. It's a tough decision. Let me see how many science directors. Yeah, it's only 400 science directors. Would that be... I don't really know, man. Let's try, right? Let's try the elite benefactor and see how things change. Oh, the Nurian research secured. So we can have the bioreactor. We can have the bioreactor and 10% of the research speed. Or we can have the gene banks. What do the gene banks do? Yeah, it's pretty much clone, I guess, clone armies. That's not very good. I think we go for the extra research speed. Let's look for another target to steal the technology. How is our spy network on the XD? It's trivial, only 33. We need 40 to steal their technology and 55 to smuggle population. Yeah, we don't want to smuggle anyone because we are xenophobic. We hate everybody else. Except these guys, they are our friends. Speaking of which, why don't we form a research agreement? I think you're gonna like this. And for us to form a federation with you, we need to decrease this negative. Probably by increasing our opinion and mutual rivals. We have 2 mutual rivals, the Nurians, and I think it's the Nagyaran. Yeah, they are our rival as well. What if we declare the Magunan's Astral Fellowship our rivals as well? Oh, they are so cute. They look so dumb. And they are even closer to us than the Crow Conglomerate. So perhaps these are the guys we want to form a federation with. Alright, let's instead improve our relations with them. I mean, at this point we have so much minor artifacts production that I don't even know what to do with it. I'm just spamming all of the actions, but we are still reaching the stockpile every time. Oh, here it is, the gene banks. 7k tech, yeah, completely bad. Thankfully we choose the extra research speed. We could have the gene banks or we could have the gene seed purification, having space marines as our armies. I think this one is much better, right? Because, well, in the end I think space marines are stronger than clone troopers. And only 3 months to research them, very quick. Whoa, out of nowhere the Magunan broke our non-aggression pact. Why? Oh, they end the rivalry, I see, right? And that made the Magunan a little more skeptical of us. Because I guess they hated the Nurians. Like, who wouldn't hate this disgusting creature? Poor guys, now I feel bad for insulting them like that. Aturian, welcome my friend. Empire size effect reduction and buffs to armies. Let's enlist you. Perhaps you can be useful later on. So I think I'm gonna grab the World Shaper. I left an open Ascension perk slot for a very long time because I was deciding on what we should do. I think that World Shaper is very good for 2 reasons. First, Gaia planets are very OP for biopops, and second, they have 100% habitability. And if you remember, in our purity tradition, we grabbed the mutagenic habitability. So for every point of extra habitability above 100%, we'll gain more job efficiency. So if we have a base of 100% on our Gaia planets, yeah, it's very, very OP. We are producing so much energy credits, it's not even gonna hurt our economy upgrading them to Gaia worlds. It's only gonna take a little bit of time, I guess. Only in our capital we can't terraform it. However, what we can do is restore the Ecumenopolis once we have 20,000 minerals. And yeah, as expected, we have run out of agendas to launch, because we are launching so quickly. Yeah, basically suffering from success at this point. What? The Voidworms are attacking us with 63,000. This is unexpected, holy. Our starbase only has 20k, oh my god. Yeah, let's activate some edicts, otherwise we're gonna die here. To be honest, it didn't change a lot. Oh, that's gonna be tough.
System survey complete.
But we are doing so much damage. Although we have a very low amount of fleet power in the end. Perhaps the power of statecraft.
We have mastered.
Yeah, we got it. That's insane actually, holy. Our damage came basically from our scout wings. Fantastic, man. We can pretty much hold on our own at this point. Let's start restoring the Ecumenopolis on Rise. That will greatly speed things up, and we are almost terraforming all of our other planets into Gaia worlds. Now, one thing that I'm second guessing here is later on we want to have the matter decompressor. However, it can only be built on black holes, and the nearest black hole is on Hope's End, right here. So, what I'm thinking is, maybe we should give up this region and instead expand our empire towards the Hope End and establish a starbase on Rankshan. Now, the reason for that is every system that we put a starbase on, we increase our empire size by 2.5 basically. It is quite costly to have. Later on I want to have as few systems as possible to maximize our empire sprawl. Maximize? No, actually minimize. Maximizing it wouldn't be very efficient. And there we have it, all of our worlds are now Gaia. That means we have a 180% habitability, holy. With this, we basically gain a plus 20% job efficiency, minus 20% housing and amenities usage. Our pops are very, very efficient in these worlds, and that is without even accounting for the plus 10% resources and happiness in the Gaia world. Oh, fantastic, the mega engineering technology. Now, this is gonna increase our arc furnace, Tyson Swarm, and deep space citadel capacity, which basically means our economy is gonna be a little bit stronger. Now, the only problem is that restoring an Ecumenopolis takes so much time. So much time, it's basically 10 years. Yeah. Right, now that we have the mega engineering and also finish up the harmony, we can grab the master builders and start skyrocketing our tech. So within 16 months we should finish the Science Nexus technology and already start constructing it. Now, I don't think we're gonna reach 20,000 tech before the year 2300, but it's not gonna be very late from that. We are just waiting for some adjustments and we're gonna change all of our jobs and it's gonna be insane, you're gonna see it. And after 10 long years of development, we have risen our home planet to its former glory of an ancient Ecumenopolis. Now the Ecumenopolis in this patch is very interesting because instead of having the regular districts, we can have 4 specialized archaeologies. Actually 3, and we only build 1 district on each specialized one, and then we can choose from whatever zone we can have. And look at this, we are slowly getting there. Right now at 5k tech, and we should expand it greatly once our Monopolis has all of its specialized archaeologies. Now the devs have greatly buffed some unused megastructures, such as the interstellar assembly site. Now this building in the latest stage, I think it reduces our empire size globally by -10%. So it is one of the best megastructures to have nowadays. Now look, here on Rise our Ecumenopolis, we have our 3 specialized archaeologies and we can choose from physics, research, civilian, heavy industry and etc. Obviously we're gonna go for the research and keep fresh airs as our industry world. Because this one we can pretty much field a lot, and I mean a lot of researchers. So it's kinda bonkers. And later on we just can replace the archives for something like a research enclave, and that will grant us, I think it is around 180 researchers for every single city district. And the Voidworms are doing another strike at our starbase, but this time we are even stronger than before, so yeah, not a very smart decision by them, as always. In the physics department we already researched all of the options and are now at the repeatables. I think we're gonna use the energy weapons repeatables for this time and utilize armor as our defensive slots. Because after all, bioships are mainly comprised of armor, so yeah, I think it's a good synergy to have. Oh, the Nuriel Imperium are preparing to declare war on us? For real? They are even inferior to us in terms of military power. Why would they do that then? I think we can build some defensive platforms. That would scare them off. Or perhaps even a deep space citadel. Yeah, I think that would be good as well. Well, since everyone is hostile to us at the point, I think it's safe to grab the Eternal Vigilance. Now this Ascension perk has been greatly buffed because of only one simple fact. Every 6 months a defense platform will be built around every starbase, depending on our policy up to a maximum of 50% capacity. So we basically just sit there doing nothing and our starbases get stronger and stronger over time. On top of that, we also have a lot of bonuses to their defensive power and reduction on their upkeep. So because we will be building a lot of these defensive platforms, the upkeep can amass to such a level that destroys our economy. However, this reduction in upkeep is actually so helpful, and if you want to, you can even maximize this by having a Bulwark vassal, because I think the Bulwark has a perk that reduces the upkeep for another 50%, so you basically can have 3 defensive platforms around all of our starbases. Yeah, they declare war on us, I don't even know why. Let's set our policy to vassalize. I have no idea how they're gonna destroy our starbases. Let's look at this, almost 70k just from one single starbase. Good luck with that. Atherium is now on a trainment using our Harbigan fleet to take care of some Voidworms that are still alive in the galaxy. This military trainment should be good for him. He's still at level 4, and we have one admiral that is even at level 10 and another at level 8. So Atherium really needs to step up if he wants a place in our empire. It turns out that Tyrion did a very good
Construction
job.
complete.
Completely annihilated the Voidworm system. Good job, my friend.
System
And he
survey
leveled up
complete.
to level 5. Good. He's the
Council
only
agenda ready.
synthetic in our whole empire. So people kinda don't like him, but he's pretty cool, pretty
Council
edgy.
agenda.
Now that we have our Unity ambitions, we can focus a little more on what matters. And that means increasing our planetary build speed, megastructure build capacity, and our research speed. We don't want to activate too many of them because we still have one tradition to finish, and after we finish the traditions, we go and ascend our planets. Just look at this council, it's so ridiculous.
System
It's
survey
only
complete.
year 2300 and we have
We have
everyone
mastered
at
a new
level
technology.
10. Kinda busted. And we are slowly getting there, boys. 14k tech per
We have
month,
mastered council
and
agenda
with
ready.
much more room to expand on our planets. This one not so much, but on Rise, oh boy. We still have the Mastery of Nature decision to expand our
Construction
districts, all of these building slots. Here on Sarpacus Prime, we still have every single district available here, basically. So yeah, we are probably gonna reach the 20,000 mark, which was our main goal in the end. If you look at this, our artisans are basically triple their effective efficiency. So yeah, we only have 2900, but they count at 7.7k, and with that is before even multiplying all of their bonuses. So in this case, we have what used to be 29 pops in the previous patch, producing 1.1 thousand consumer goods. That's kinda ridiculous. And now that we have finished all of our ascension perks, we can pretty much start ascending our planets to reduce their empire size and improve their production. Here on our capital we have a minus 50% empire size from the world and a 78% designation boost. And this designation, what it does is, it increases the amount of resources our empire capital produces. Look, it gets plus 10% resources from jobs and housing, amenities and stability. But since we have that modifier, we basically are producing plus 41% resources from jobs. Kinda ridiculous. But we do have a slight little problem, which is our consumer goods deficit, minus 1000 per month. How do we fix this? Well, like, to be honest, we can buy 1,500, but we need to offset this with a little bit of trade. Perhaps selling some rare resources would do. Let's see if this amount of trade stabilizes it. I hope so, because we are selling... yeah, plus 5k trade. I do have one trick up in my sleeve for us to reach 20k tech, and that is grabbing a Makan as our governor, because he has the Botlord trait, he just acquired it, and a bunch of other traits that are good for tech. He's 644 years old, what? I just noticed this. I think it was from an event, right? Because he is immortal, never die of old age. Obelisk Curse, perhaps it's this one. So we grab this, and let's see the amount of tech we get now. 20k. Fantastic, man, fantastic. Yeah, everyone, we reached our goal. It took 15 years more than planned, but we converted 2000 research into 20k, and I think we even reduced our empire size, I can't remember that. Ideally, we want to beat the 25-time crisis for the first time in this patch using the bioships, but for that we're gonna need to improve our economy a little bit more, especially the food production. Our goal here is to become the Galactic Emperor, having everyone under our rule. However, our diplomatic weight is very minimal, only 19,000. We need to improve this. And that is even accounting with our interstellar assembly. One thing you can do is hire an official to become a, I think it is, what? Yeah, delegate. Yeah, this way it almost doubled our diplo weight. Oh really? The end of XT489 eliminators. Wow. I didn't even see this coming. They are not in order to destroy them. Okay. Like, it always feels weird to see an empire that was with you since the start of the game basically disappearing. Atyrion is in his first massive battle against a whole lot of ships, 118 corvettes, man, and Atyrion only has 8 harbingers to deal with this. Let's see his strategical mastermind in action to see if he can pull this off. From the looks of it, it's not being very favored to our side. Oh no, they have a reinforcement. That's bad. I didn't see that coming. Oh, they just evacuated. Okay. Turion managed to win. Oh boy, not too early, man. Way too early. Well, let's send the Zarglan pilgrims to reinforce him. Otherwise, yeah, we already lost 2 harbingers. And they have another reinforcement. So we sent our small Fallen Empire fleet and they just retreated. 2 harbingers at the cost of all of these ships. I think it's a pretty solid win for us. The war exhaustion says the same. Athyrion's been swarmed with ancient destroyers and mining drones. Oh, poor guy. Yeah, we only have 2 harbingers active, 3 harbingers, the other ones have retreated. But the mining drones are extremely effective at taking them out because we are mainly comprised of armor and hull, and that's what their weapons are good against. But they're just following the harbingers. That guy right there is doing God's work, kiting everyone else. Yeah, but I don't think Atyrion can take everyone out. We only have 1 Elder Harbinger against all of these ancient destroyers, man. Yeah, he's just taking everyone for a ride.
We have mastered a new technology.
Now leave it in the comments down below if you guys think Tyrion's gonna win this battle. Oh boy. Leave Tyrion alone. And the Great Tempest also appeared at the same time. Oh man, what have I done? Well, thankfully I preemptively built a fleet of Elder Stingers. They have 200k fleet power, very powerful. So perhaps this one can take out some of the Algate fleets. We already have another one here that's gonna be even stronger. But they are still waiting to grow a little bit until they can have their full military power. I think I'm gonna send my small Fallen Empire fleet to scout the Algates. This way you can have a feeling about how strong the Great Tempest fleets are. Let's get you, Sapituru, level 2 commander. I don't really care if you are eliminated. What? 400k fleet? That's much stronger than I thought they would be. If I remember correctly, the Algates were around 50k. Now boy, this is tremendously buffed Algates. What is this? Well, Atyrion didn't manage to kill all of the ancient mining drones, but he did a pretty good job. Our point defenses killed 17,000. What is this, man? Do the ancient drones have statecraft? I didn't think about that. What? Yeah. I'm not getting this. 17,000 statecraft defeated. Wow. Now this is huge, man. So huge. So this Astral Rift here, the lattice, when it ends, we can have the 9 fractal seeds. And what it does is every fractal seed increases our maximum district by +1. So with this, man, we can have 9 more districts in our empire capital. Just think about it. Look, ridiculous, man. Oh, but I think we can only utilize it once. Ah, that's much more balanced, to be honest. Just think if we could utilize everything on one planet. That would be so broken. Yeah, I think that there's thought about it before. And we are nominating ourselves the custodian. Everyone is on board because the Great Tempest is active. Not like it was planned, right? But it worked out in the end. One thing that is kind of funny that I just realized is that Juggernaut has modifiers from starbases. So we have a plus 123 starbase hull points, and that affects our Juggernaut. The same goes for the damage, but I guess that Admiral traits such as those ones that increase starbase defenses and Eternal Vigilance and Unyielding, everything affects the Juggernaut as well. That's why it is so powerful at 115,000 fleet power. So now that we have a very large navy, we can start expanding our control over the galaxy, especially amidst the crisis. Now, although it is a mid-game crisis, it is not the end of the world, but it is a very powerful Tempest Shoal. Almost 500k fleets, and there isn't a single empire in the galaxy, except us, with more than 500k fleet power in total, let alone powerful enough to defeat them. So what we can do right now is start establishing embassies with everyone else, and also utilizing all of our envoys, that we have a lot of them, to build spy networks. And we wouldn't be a very controlled empire without a sentry array. So let's start building one inside a nebula. This way all other empires will have no idea that we have that kind of intel regarding their empires. Basically a secret megastructure to spy on our enemies and our allies. And the crab is gonna build it very quickly for us. I have no idea what to do with all of these surplus of resources, to be honest. It's kinda tough. We reached a situation where we are suffering from success once again. And we have the most perfect mega art installation in the galaxy. It is producing us plus 20% amenities, reducing the colony ascension, and giving us 800 unity per month. People all around the galaxy can go here and see the wonders of art that we have produced. But the most important pieces of art are instead stored on our Grand Archive, and we became the Galactic Custodian, finally. So let's expand our reach in the galaxy. We can probably start by removing the custodianship term limit, obviously. That's gonna be our first resolution, and also an emergency measure. It seems a very reasonable resolution to vote first. We haven't done anything, but we wanna be there forever. Oh, now they want to invite us to the Federation. It is only a level 1 Federation, but they have been around so long. I mean, cohesion here must be so trash. I don't want to join this. We can end the session prematurely. Now this is a very powerful perk the custodians have, which basically accelerates all the resolutions in the galactic community, so we can get stronger even faster. It only costs 200 influence, almost 200. And now we have our term limit as permanent. After some time we can even proclaim the Galactic Imperium. As a matter of fact, why don't we do this now? Let's withdraw our resolution and proclaim the Galactic Imperium. This is gonna be like a speed run of Galactic Imperium. We basically became the custodian, I think it was what, 5 years ago, and we are already trying to become the Galactic Emperor. But of course, this galaxy is so messy, so underworld. There are a lot of federations here, but they aren't making any progress so far. Although they have a lot of members, what happens is everyone is weak, right? As a matter of fact, I just noticed this, fellas. Every single AI empire is in a federation. There isn't a single one alone. Only us. That's so cool, actually. Oh, Turion has a proposal. He has devised the population optimization plan that, at the expense of certain personal freedoms, would increase production by at least 7%. Oh, minus 15% happiness. Is our population 100% happy? Oh, they are 85% happy. Yeah, 70% now. But I think that's because I'm neglecting factions so much. Look at this. If we had one xenophobic on the council, we would already be very good approval with the Almighty Unity front. And since we also have a curated archivist, they are not very happy with that as well. So why don't we change the Virek Nahal for the Arturian? Arturian has some good perks. He could help us a little bit. Yeah, now they are much happier. 74% approval, very good. Our Sentry Rob is expanding, almost being finished. With this we already have a very good intel around the galaxy. Only some regions still don't have the Eye of the Emperor. Not the Emperor still, but the Eye of the Custodian then. Oh no, the Great Tempest is approaching. I didn't even see them coming. And let's have him defend the categorized system. It's so good, Eternal Vigilance Ascension perk. We have defensive platforms everywhere. Like Endor has friends everywhere, we have defensive platforms. No! Our scientist died. Ah, that is so unlucky, man. He was exploring camouflaged, and however he entered the Fallen Empire system, got decloaked, and the Great Tempest destroyed him. Man, he was a level 9 scholar, and he also had the Bot Lord. I was so dumb leaving him exploring the universe like that. I should have recalled him home so much earlier than that. And we can proclaim the Galactic Imperium. We will have the Imperial Core, and all members leave any existing federations. Oh boy. The first Galactic Imperium. It is the dawn of a new order. The old galactic community has been dismantled, and in its place, the first Galactic Imperium has risen. After claiming a rightful place on the throne of this new pan-galactic state, we are now known as the Imperial Core. In a lavish coronation ceremony broadcast across the entire galaxy, a new imperial dynasty was established when Kawika Yun I was crowned Galactic Emperor on Rise. Long live the Galactic Emperor, long live the Imperium. And now we have full control over the galaxy. Our economy kinda crashed. that is not good, I'm not gonna lie. What happened here? Oh, our government just... yeah, we have no councillors. But I didn't think it would crash that much. What? Oh man, no, that is so bad. We lost the eugenic hierarchy, which was giving us a lot, and I mean a lot, of job efficiency and council agenda speed. So now we are much weaker than before. We can have this that increases the effective leader skill and leader lifespan, but it's, yeah, you know. Or nucleic judiciary, which increases our society research per pops and decreases the crime, increases stability. I don't know. Hear me out, this is what we're gonna do. We wanna have civil education to reduce our upkeep from jobs. That's gonna be good, because we lost technocracy, which was greatly reducing our research upkeep. That kinda crashed our economy a little bit. We're also gonna have the cutthroat politics, which will increase our faction resource output by plus 3% for every skill level. And then we are gonna also combine that with the crowdsourcing to get research instead of unity from factions, because right now we have almost 1 million stored unity. That isn't much reason for us to keep increasing that. We already ascended most of our planets to tier 10, however we can't have the crowdsourcing if we have a fanatic epic. What I'm thinking here is the veterans for victory moment get their support to 20%, and after that we embrace the faction. We can even research psionic theory. What? And the Great Khan spawn. So we have the Elgates with 500k, we have now the Great Khan, which should have 500k as well. Yeah, the galaxy is pretty much in a very tough situation now. Let's activate the Heart's Mind to increase our ethics shift chance and stop promoting the Almighty United Front and suppress the other two factions. I think that with this, everyone is gonna go to the militarist faction. Great Tempest has made the great mistake of getting into the Hither system, where we have all of these ships and defensive platforms. They're just gonna get obliterated. Goodbye. Only lost one defensive platform and one battle cruiser. That's fine. Now I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna replace one of our main zones with a planetary defensive zone, which will give us, instead of researchers, give us soldier jobs. And the reason for that is I'm not seeing a good progress towards increasing our military faction. However, here it says that soldier pops have more chance of becoming militarist. That's kinda right, makes sense. So let's see if we replace a zone here that will work things out. Now, unemployment is massive, as expected. Yeah, it increased by 1%. It should be increasing in the next couple of months. Well, in the meantime, at least, our sentry array has been completed, and now we have full intel about everything in the galaxy. That is our Emperor power, the all-seeing eye. And now we finally have the support, we can embrace the faction and become militarists. With these, our empire ethics have changed to instead of fanatic authoritarian, to xenophobe, militarist and authoritarian. This way, I think, yeah, we can have the crowdsourcing. Finally, man. So we could even get the eugenic hierarchy. Oh man, nah. That's gonna be insane actually. So we grab the eugenic hierarchy, the crowdsourcing. Can we have the cutthroat? Yeah, we can have the cutthroat as well. Fantastic. The only one we can't have that we used to have is the technocracy, but that's fine. Yeah, that is fine. I want something that will either increase the political power or will increase the amount of effective Councilor skill. Yeah, this one increases by 1. But is there something better? Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna go civil education. That was our original plan, right? This way you can reduce our upkeep from jobs. And let's have our brand new council. Oh, but we have only so many council slots. I wanna have everything. I wanna have the curator, I wanna have the head of education, and also wanna have the prime speaker. We only have 2 slots, so we need to get rid of one of these. Perhaps the curator archivists, but they reduce their researchers' upkeep and increases their output. I think I'm gonna have the curator archivists instead. So let's see how things change in the next month. Alright, it stabilized a little bit. We are still much weaker than we used to. I think we had around 35,000 tech per month. So yeah, we are weaker, definitely. Now things starting to look like they used to, that we have replaced the soldier zone with the research zone once again. Although our empire size has increased, and I don't know why. Oh man, we lost the sovereign guardianship. That is so troll actually. Like, come on man. We shouldn't lose this when we reform the government. Alright, that's okay, I guess. We are gonna proclaim the first Imperial Armada. This way we can expand our reach even further. Let's also change the galactic focus to... let's go with the Great Tempest. I wanna have control of the Allgates. Just look at our little Mauler fleet. We're just growing them and we're gonna utilize them to destroy the Allgates. They have a very cool feature, which is that the Elder Stage, they get the elite cloaking field. So we can cloak all of our Maulers and strike them without them even knowing what hit them. Now we do have our Mauler fleet completely upgraded to the Elder Stage, and they have almost 600k fleet power. So if you remove the Elder Weaver, we can cloak them. The nearest Allgate is in the Eye of Hawkening, and look at just the damage the Allgates dealt to the Nurian Imperium. They used to control all of this region, but now it is just devoid of life. At the same time, the Imperial Armada has been formed. The creation of a grand fleet has started. And what we can do is... oh, they have the bio ship set. Interesting. Now, the only part is, in the previous patch at least, we used to have a Juggernaut for the Federation and another one for the Galactic community if we had the Imperial Armada. However, here we can only build Titans. There isn't any Juggernaut ship design. I don't know if they change it for every single empire or it is just a bio ship set. I don't know if you guys have encountered the same thing. So if any of you know, please let me know in the comments, I appreciate it. So there we have it, all of our molars. Let's cloak them. Look at the little fellas hiding from everyone. And let's jump to the gates. They don't see our ships. That's so cool, man. We're just passing through their ships. Fantastic. Let's go here and we'll strike the factory. 98 days, very quick. Let's also activate all of our edicts. Let's go sneakily. Very close to their ships. Here we go. That's gonna be hilarious, man.
Attacking enemy assets.
But they're so tanky. What? No way. How did we lose this? What? I mean, perhaps I should have more reinforcements than only that. To be honest, they have what? 4 million fleet power here? 5 million? Yeah, 5 million fleet power. Oh boy. It's not an easy fight. Right now we control the whole galaxy and we pretty much can do whatever we want with them. But we have two game crises at the same time, the Horde and the Allgate, so things are a little bit messy. We as the Great Empire are facing a heavy threat. We have the Great Khan that has awakened and, well, he has quite a lot of fleet power. But that is nothing compared to what the Great Tempest has. They only have a 4.6 million fleet in their home system and a lot more scattered around their systems. Yeah, it's gonna be quite tough to defeat them. However, we do have a plan, and the plan is, well, in the previous video we already tried this, however we didn't have the amount of damage necessary, and what we did was send out the cloaked molars that we have some stored here, just repairing. Look, there they are. 76 molars survived out of the 228 that we had. So if we build like 2 fleets of this, we should theoretically one-shot their starbase. And with the nanites, if we only destroy their factory, which is located here on their main system, well, we pretty much win the crisis, because they get instantly destroyed. However, it is not cheap to build one fleet like this. Every single molar costs us 400 food, and since we'll be building 220, that's pretty much 90,000 food. Yeah. And whilst we wait, the entire galaxy is being decimated by the Great Tempest. The Phoenix Imperium was the first one to fall. They're still alive, but kind of only. Out of all the systems they once had, they now only have one planet remaining on the Galactic, with only 1.5 thousand pops. Poor guys, they are so destroyed. Yeah, but yeah, that's really karma in Stellaris. They declared war on us twice in the early game. They didn't do anything, and now look at them. But I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to seize some Leviathans for our empire. There are 2 here. We could grab our Titan and Stinger fleet and jump. Let's first destroy the Stellarite Devourer. Well, our ships literally jumped right now and it is already dead, basically, yeah. Which one is the best? I don't remember. Let's do this. And move to kill the Ancient Dreadnought. Well, this is a quite fast boy. And goodbye. Well, we have created a mercenary enclave on the Maref system, and I think we created a very strong mercenary. They have a fleet of 360,000 fleet power, but we had to do this to decrease our naval cap and thus reduce the alloy we were losing, because boy, our economy is crashing at this point. Yeah, it still didn't make a difference there. It's a very tough scenario that we are in. Oh my god, now that is very troubling. We have received an urgent communique from the Kappa warriors, which are our mercenary enclave. They say that the Great Khan Horde made them an offer they cannot refuse. Now, are you kidding me? If you don't refuse this, we're gonna destroy you, that's why. Oh boy, we have 60 days to decide if we wanna hire them or not. Why did it have to come this way, man? Yeah, we're gonna have to destroy you. There is no way I can trust a member of our empire to be like that. Traitors, their greed will be their downfall. Let's already attack them preemptively.
Attacking enemy vessels.
And goodbye. They have been destroyed. And they only cost 9 Elder Stingers? Alright, they did some damage to us. Holy. Yeah, we kinda have a minus 66% armor and shipfire rate modifier due to our alloy shortages. Yeah, now that makes sense why we took so much damage. But we are slowly fixing it on Marath Prime by building more heavy industries with alloy forges. It is kinda tough to maximize your economy in this patch. Like, we can have massive amounts of production in a single field, but with limited planets like we are using here, sometimes things spiral out of control. Very easy, much easier than the previous patch, because I think it's snowball, right? You snowball for good and you snowball for bad if you're not careful enough. And we have finally fixed our alloy shortages. Good. We are doing so many repeatables on the society for improving our food production, but to be honest, we have a 300% research speed when researching biology, so that accelerates things. And because of this, our food production is actually massive now, and we can start reinforcing our Mauler fleets. Sleepers awake! Man, we are getting a combo of crisis. Holy. We have the Great Khan, we have the Allgate, now we have an awakened empire. What's next? What in heaven? And then the crisis all at once. This is the most chaotic galaxy I've ever seen. And the awakened empire obviously is the one that is right next to us. Thankfully they are custodial to us and pathetic in fleet power already. Well, at least the Great Khan died somewhere. Maybe because of old age, I guess, since he has been around for so long. Oh, shortage of alloys. Yeah, who'd have guessed? And with the death of the Great Khan, the new Khanate is spawned. That's interesting. They are together in a single empire. Normally they split up. But yeah, the Great Tempest is doing some work in the galaxy. And they are not even losing their numbers. I wonder how much fleet power they have in total. It must be close to 20 million or so, perhaps even more. Our economy is now stabilizing a lot, thankfully, and very soon we should have 2 of our fleets of Maulers completed at the elder stage. I think 0 months, from what I'm seeing here, yeah, just about now. And with those fleets we can safely go to their system and destroy the Allgate once and for all. Alright, there we have it folks, our 2 brave Mauler fleets, each one with more than 800k fleet power. I really hope that that will be enough to defeat them, otherwise I don't know what will. So let's cloak both of them. Good. Instead of a machine swarm of nanites, we're gonna have a bioswarm. How the tides have changed. Just getting past all of their ships like we wouldn't even dare. Alright, our final fleet has arrived. Just wait for the jump drives to cool down. And let's destroy... Oh, let's actually get a little closer to it. Maybe here. Just an ocean of ships. And yeah, let's decloak and destroy. Yeah. Fantastic, man. That was it, basically. Alright, now we shall start getting into our plan of developing our Empire core in the Allgate systems. Oh, finally. First, let's establish a starbase on the Eye of Hawking. And we can have the nanite fighters if we reverse engineer the debris. Really? I didn't think that was an option. Yeah, like we could reverse engineer the Great Tempest technologies. However, they don't appear as research options, so perhaps it is bugged after all. So here's what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna occupy all systems in the Allgate, which we already are doing basically. Then we are gonna terraform every single one of the nanite worlds into Gaia worlds. But first I think we should terraform to something else, maybe Alpine world. Let's already start doing this with every single planet, because then we'll terraform them to Gaia worlds. There we have it, all of them blue being terraformed, and after we establish our starbases, we just terraform the other 2 that are remaining. Then we're also making a train basically, from our home planet to the Owl Gate. This way we can have the hyper relays and move our fleet very quickly from the main capital to our second capital, which will be established on the Nandi system. We are also establishing defensive platforms and defensive starbases across some very important choke points in order to defend ourselves against the endgame crisis. This guy right here, the Phoenix Imperium, couldn't be happier than this. And yeah, they are of course loyal and faithful subjects of the Imperium. Man, they were almost obliterated by the Great Tempest. We saved them from the Great Tempest by destroying it, and now we have them under our control in our empire. So they are the most secured empire in the galaxy. They couldn't be safer than that. And all of these lovely planets are now Alpine worlds, which we can then terraform to Gaia's. It's only costing 5k energy credits, but we have a very large stockpile nonetheless. And we still have some Dyson spheres to produce if we ever want to increase that production. So there you have it, kind of an expensive investment, almost 80,000 energy credits, but it will pay off tremendously well. And just in case someone tries to do some funny things, we have all of our maulers just camouflage on the Owl Gate. Now imagine if someone tries to do anything with us, we just have our guys here to do some chops and annihilate them. It is very scary. 1.6 million fleet power of cloaked ships that are especially designed to take on close range targets. And power surge the Satana, man. Really? Oh boy. Now why it had to be her? The only crisis that has a countdown. Where is she? Here. How are we gonna defeat this, man? I'm gonna do something insane and just spend all of this food building juvenile Satana destroyers. My finger is gonna fall off from clicking here, and my game is almost crashing from the amount of build queue. Yeah, I can't open that menu again, otherwise it's gonna crash. Now we are spamming a lot, and I mean a lot of maulers now. It's gonna be around 1000 new maulers just so we can literally maul the Satana. She's destroying the Fallen Empires first. I can't pronounce this name, but the Chroniclers are almost gone. And we have a Fallen Empire very nearby. An Awakened Empire actually. So the Satana will take care of it for us. But yeah. In the meantime, we just grow our ships a little bit stronger. I mean, I really have no idea what I will do to destroy the Satana's guard units. Well, there she is. And all Fallen Empires declared war on her. Like they're gonna do something about it. Oh, but she's starting to move. Oh, that's interesting. But just as I was saying about their fleets, yeah, they're moving away, thankfully. Perhaps if we could mobilize our maulers in time and get her Titan whilst it is undefended, that would be huge. And look, she's completely undefended. And she's traveling through our Owl Gate as well. Let me just do something, because I don't want her moving around. So we can lock our Owl Gate at least. Well, our economy isn't the brightest at this point, just because we are surpassing our naval cap a little bit. Here we're gonna do some changes. First, let's change the society research specialization for a heavy industry, and the other one will be replaced for a civilian industry. Here on the agri world, we're gonna change the administrative hub for a farming support. That would be better. And with this, I think we should stabilize our economy a little bit more. Yeah, probably. But I cannot guarantee. Miss Satana is just wild. She's all by herself taking care of the Fallen Empires. Why does she even have a guard then? Our economy is surviving, I don't even know how. We are selling everything that we have in the stockpile in order to just pass the month without going to negative. Kinda insane to be honest, but we are still 1.6 thousand above our naval cap. That makes a lot of sense. And the Tamesian protectors are gone. Now I did change one zone for a commercial nexus, and our capital is producing 11,000 trade. So I just hope that with this 11,000 trade, we can buy 500 monthly trade. Let's upgrade it to 600 then. And pray. No, it didn't work. Why, man? Would it work in the next month? Almost. And we are still losing 2k trade. How is that even happening, man? Oh boy. But we're gonna have a heavy industry within 30 days either way, so we should be fine. Dyson Swarm on the way as well. Alright, now we fixed the economy, but crashed the minerals production and food as well. Our tech has been cut off by half, basically. So it's not a very easy situation, my friends. That's what happens when the Satan appears and you get desperate trying to build fleets. But to be honest, we do have a lot of fleet power, 7 million here. And fallen empires are dying left and right. Alright, the Satan is now speaking finally. We are not your children. Stay away from us. Oh, she appeared here. Okay, can we destroy the outpost? She wants the head of Zarklan. No way, man. Since she's starting to get a little hostile, why don't we test out one of our Mauler fleets? You first Voidwings, commanded by... Let's head the Jerk. We are xenophobic, so we don't like other kinds. Why don't we test with someone that isn't our own kind? If things go wrong, they go wrong. We don't lose anybody important. What the fuck is happening? Let's attack her. Yeah. Oh, they got completely annihilated. Fantastic. What? She just summoned a storm on us. Why? We had the Setana Nanites as a debris option. Alright, that seems balanced. We can even have the Setana Statecraft from the debris. Kinda ridiculous, right? I don't know if they are good though. I think they're very good, since everything that comes from the endgame crisis usually is very strong. Now with the Setana, we ideally want to do all of the side quests from her and destroy all of the outposts. So since we lost quite a lot of Maulers during that engagement, I think it was what, 14 Maulers? Let's try to use some long-range vessels to destroy the outposts. Well, let's see how well we fare using our long-range weapons. Can't we attack it? Alright. Ah, this one is much better. Oh boy, Satan is almost completing halfway through there. Ah man, we are doing everything we can, researching all of the special projects, destroying all of her outposts. I don't even know what we can do next. I wanted to declare war on her, but we need to finish up the situation first. Okay, ends the Satana's event chain. Not this one, the other one. Alright. Can we declare war on her then? Man, I really don't think we can beat her. Ah, it's so tough, man. Like, she's just sitting in her system there. Like, doing nothing, basically. Because, like, how can we possibly defeat all of this fleet? It is impossible, man. There's 57 million here. Satan itself, which, I mean, she's kind of mortal. And that is without even accounting for the defensive platforms and starbases. Like, what we can do is just grab all of our military fleet and move it there. I mean, she's not gonna declare war on us either way. We might just well do it. Oh well, I guess that the mission unlock does not work for Satana, because she just ignored it. What? Satana, exploiting a vulnerability in our defense set, slipped through and murdered the Galactic Emperor Kawikayon first. Man, she's so gonna pay for this. Oh my god. The time has finally come. Oh man. We are at war with the Satana. And we already lost one fleet. Ah yeah, of course. Of course. 53 million here, and the Satana has 53 million there. 18 there, 18... Ah man, we lost. How can the Satana be so strong at 25 times the strength, man? It's so unfair. Holy. Like, we have 11 million, it's not like we are weak, right? But I still think we have zero chance of defeating her. Of course, we definitely have zero chance if we go through all of her fleets, that's for sure. I'm thinking that we should jump to the ISTA system, which is where she is, right? And after we do that, we just hope we deal enough damage to kill her. That's basically it. Let's get this fleet away because the jump drives is recharging. Let's look at the mass of fleets we have. And I think they are retreating all of their vessels to defend her, only to make things easier for us. But that's it, man. Everyone jumped. And here it is. It's more than 1,000 ships here. A lot more than 1k ships. It lags a lot by just clicking it. Can we somehow click on the Satana? She by herself has 71 million. Now, seems fair. Oh, there she is. Clustered. Alright. Let's slow down and see the damage. The swarm of maulers going in. Look at how fast we're losing our naval cap. It is just decreasing like 100 per day. At least her Titan comes in close range very fast. Maybe the maulers came through. Like literally a swarm of maulers. Yeah, but her reinforcements have arrived. 86 million just from the reinforcement, plus 71 million from her ship. 150 million fleet power. Yeah, man. We stand zero chance of winning this. One Titan already gone. She is still full HP, by the way. And just a swarm of maulers destroyed, trying to do their best to kill her.
Vessels destroyed.
But in the end, it is a hopeless war. We kinda did some damage there, but not really. 100 million there, alright. This is the total damage, total amount of ships we had, without 41 million damage, and it still wasn't enough. Unfortunately. So Setana will win again. I mean, I think Setana is my great nemesis, to be honest. It's the second time we lose to her. The first one we kinda went ballistic and fought a 150 times Setana. But now at only 25 times our bioships weren't as strong as our regular ships, I believe, and we just got obliterated. I had a very cool plan for our L-gate. We were building such a very nice defensive choke point. I hope we could survive here forever, but Setana fought otherwise. So yeah, everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough, and if you did, don't forget to leave that like button because it helps me out a lot, and I will see you guys next time.